iScrappers, Tom from the iScrap app, and believe it or not, today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2020, and we hope everyone is doing well, staying busy, staying cool, and staying out of the sun as much as possible. We tell our guys all of the time the information that you receive from a bottle of water will help save your day. Drink water, drink water, drink water. I know you want to have a different beverage at the end of the day, but during the day, make sure you're staying hydrated, especially when you have 85 to 105 degree heat, like many of you scrappers have been posting online. Over the last week, we've had a lot of interesting pieces of metal market news, and we'd love to answer any questions that you have when we get to those sections, whether we're talking about copper, brass, aluminum, wire, catalytic converters. Just let us know and you'll be able to learn more information. Now, if you have not downloaded or updated your iScrap app on your smartphone, whether it's Droid or iPhone, please make sure to do so today. You'll be able to get notifications sent to you when the market moves up, down, or even when the market stays even. We've had some people asking us in the past, why would we want to know if the market is even? Well, wouldn't you want to know if things are just staying status quo and you kind of week over week? If you're not paying attention to the prices daily, wouldn't that help you? And the answer is yes. Not only do we have those updates going out through our notifications, but we have our national price average page that shows quotes on number one bare bright, number one steel, light iron, catalytic converters, carbide, electronics, all types of information that you can go to online to learn more about where the markets are, where we think the markets could be headed. That's why we like to do our weekly report on Wednesdays. It gives us a really nice feel of what happened at the end of last week, over the weekend, and going into the week afterwards. So let's talk about some of the things that we've seen week over week, and we're going to start with the copper prices. Last Friday, we saw the copper market drop 12 cents per pound. It was not expected. It was out of the ordinary, and we saw scrap yards immediately dropping their prices. Our yard here in New Jersey, we dropped our prices twice on Friday. When the market started down 7 or 8 cents, we took a little while and then we saw it was dropping, and we dropped it twice because the market drop went so quick, so fast. Now, once that market dropped and we watched the market, on Monday we saw it come back up 7 cents a pound. Now, on Tuesday, the market dropped about 1.5 pennies, but today we've seen the market swing both ways. We went down 1.5 pennies, now we're up 1.5 pennies. What does that tell us? That tells us that traders are looking at the metals and manufacturing data is being pushed into the market that is changing some of these prices. Now, these prices going up and going down in rapid successions is not what you want to see, because that puts us on the roller coaster, and we want to be more on cruise control. It's just flowing relatively calm. Calm is what we want to be able to see. Yes, it's nice to have large upticks, but generally those large price jumps will not have the scrapyard immediately changing their prices, because they're still going to be scared that the market could be dropping down any minute, if not already. When these markets drop, they drop fast like we saw last Friday. And while you see a recovery happening on Monday, that doesn't always happen, having kind of the yin to the yang of the big drop and the big increase in back-to-back days. That shows you the instability in the market. Now, one of the reasons that we saw some of that instability with the price drop on Friday and then the increase on Monday was some political tension that was out there with some of the unemployment benefits. And what we saw happen over the weekend was we saw a couple of executive orders push out, help some of the unemployment, which secured a little bit of the financial side of things, where traders didn't know what was going to happen with so many people on the unemployment line not getting that additional benefit. But having it happened lowered the price of gold, where we saw gold fall over $100 per ounce. It was around $19.40 before I popped onto this today. But we saw prices of gold over $2,050 per ounce, where it had cracked last week $2,000 per ounce for the first time. Now, with the markets becoming a little more secure, we saw the stock markets increasing. We saw some metal prices decreasing. That includes gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and rhodium. Our friends over at rrcats.com have been quoting many of you on catalytic converters. We have some prices on some of the precious metals that will give you a little better idea week over week what we saw, what happened, and where it's going to go. But we have a question first.
Going off of that, Rich actually is tuning in and he said, what's your crystal ball on converters? So I figured that was a good time to bring it up.
Awesome. Hey, Rich.
He also said he looks forward to it, and we also have a couple questions about aluminum cans.
I'll get to those in a minute, but let's talk about the catalytic converter market, Rich. What I think is going to be happening with the catalytic converter market short term, and then give you a little bit of a long-term perspective. Short term, you're going to see some jumps really high and really low. Week over week, let's look at the platinum price, for instance. A week ago, we saw prices at $939 an ounce. Today is at $913, but in between that, on Monday, we hit $977. So you saw a bit of an increase anywhere from 3% up or down day to day. Palladium, a week ago, $21.34, topped out at $22.22, about a 3% increase, and today is at $21.11. Now, rhodium was a real big market changer. A week ago, $8,530 an ounce. Today, over $10,000 an ounce, but it topped out a couple of days ago around $10,300 an ounce. So these prices are jumping. You see anywhere from 0.5% to 3 or 4% for each metal over the last week, and that is not what we want to see. But our team over at rrcats.com quotes off of the current market prices and locks those prices in for you for 7 business days. So if you get a quote on Wednesday morning, you have until the following Friday, which is really about 10 full days, about 7 business days, to get that cat in and have that quote hold true. Now, many people will ask us with the catalytic converter market, hey, if the prices go up, am I going to get an increase? And the answer is no. But think about it, if the prices go down, do you want to get a decrease? Probably not. Having a little bit of stability and security in the market makes it so it gives you the ability to sell your materials, ship them out, and we look at that shipping date. If you're plus or minus a couple of days because the shipping was delayed or it took a little while or you were across the country, it's not a problem. The team at rrcats.com tracks everything through all of the different tracking systems that you provide us, whether it's UPS, FedEx, USPS, or DHL, any of the tracking services that you're sending things to us. It really is no issue. Our team will be able to find that, track the cats, and make sure you get your quote exactly the way we put it out there. If you send it to us a few weeks later, that's a different story, as we'll generally reprice and make sure that we let you know where the markets are before purchasing your catalytic converter. So if you have any more questions, the team over at rrcats.com can respond to you via text message, email, and we can even explain things over the phone after we get some information flowing back and forth. Now, the catalytic converter market is obviously going to be based on those 3 precious metals that we talked about. And with the swings happening up and down with the gold market, that kind of reflected on those other precious metals and swung them up and down a little bit left and right. But overall, the market really is at a good spot, especially when you compare it to some of the low points it hit over the last few months. We think that now is as good a time as any to sell your catalytic converters. And people ask us all the time, hey, are you holding on to your cats, buying them thinking that the markets go up? And we're not. We get them in and we sell them, and we get them decanned, cut, and ready for processing to make sure that we are able to constantly have more market information by moving material ourselves, which benefits you, which creates a little more transparency, and we always welcome any of your questions. So Rich, hopefully that helped you out. Now, on the copper side of things, we talked about the market going up and down, and of course that will affect yellow brass, number 1 tubing, where the markets have jumped a little bit. The insulated copper wire market has been a little more difficult recently, with the market being all over the place, but overall we're very happy with where the market has been. Yellow brass averages around $1.15 per pound across the US, bottoming out around 95 cents, and we did see a couple of quotes in the 135, 140 range, but those were generally for larger loads of material. The aluminum market, which we have been asked a multitude of questions about over the last few months, has a little bit of market news, but not the type that you're going to really want to hear. It seems like more tariffs are being put into play between the United States and Canada, with another 10% tariff being issued against Canadian refined aluminum coming back into the country because of a couple of trade deals that the U.S. said Canada wasn't keeping as well. Now, with that happening, what that's going to mean moving forward is we don't know where aluminum is going to be headed. Don't forget, we have an election in 90 or so days, and that's going to really make a big impact on where the tariffs are, how the market's going to react, where we're going to move from there, and we don't know where it's going to go. We've seen sheet aluminum prices 22 cents, 18 cents, 16 cents, 27 cents per pound, averaging around 18 to 20 cents per pound overall. Now, these aluminum prices have been very difficult to look at recently because they've been so low, and we don't see any type of increases coming in the foreseeable future, and that's what we've been saying for a few months, and so far, knock on wood, unfortunately, we're right, because of course we want to see an increase coming as well, but that does not seem to be happening, especially with the manufacturing industry, the tariffs, and the overall economy having a lot of question marks, as well as the world economy having a lot of the same question marks. A lot of people keep hearing about the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the S&P markets all hitting record highs, and you say, how does that help me with my scrap metal? Well, it helps because people are moving money. It helps because stocks are being traded, which means that goods are being processed, that reported earnings are coming in, and there have been some earnings that have been better than expected, meaning that manufacturing, consumer confidence, and purchasing has uptick, which will help a lot of the scrap prices over the long term. You might not see those prices happening and jumping today, but watching some of this market data is really what we want to be able to see. Think about it. How many of you own a Droid or an iPhone or some other type of smartphone? Where do you think it's made? How do you think it's put together? Well, it's made across the United States. It's made overseas in the Asian markets. But a lot of the chips are put together, made here in the United States, over in China as well. And the metals that are needed for these chips have to come from somewhere. And it's generally much cheaper to be able to take metals, recycle them, instead of taking that raw ore and making it into new products. So when we watch all of these things, we watch all the manufacturing data. We look at things like when Caterpillar does their reporting, how many machines have they sold? Caterpillar is one of the largest market movers across the entire world for equipment, and that equipment that's getting moved is going to dictate where a lot of these things are. When you hear Caterpillar having really good earnings, that means more people are buying equipment, more people are leasing equipment, more buildings are being put up, more homes are being put up, more buildings are being demolished. Things like that really come into effect. Now, we look at that here at iScrap, and we try to put that out there to give you a better idea and more information on what's going on in all of these different markets. If you're looking for more information, you can always become a Patreon supporter. We have updates going out weekly. You can always make sure that you update your app so you have app notifications coming in through your phone multiple times a week. The team at rrcats.com is ready to quote your cats, and we see lots of people talking about the team at rrcats.com online through the Facebook groups, as well as emailing us and giving us references as well. We love reaching out to more people, and we love different advice and recommendations that we have. So if you have any questions, you can always go online to learn more about the process, the procedures, and how quickly you get paid. This is Tom from the iScrap app. Today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2020. Next week on the 19th, we look forward to doing a heavy question and answer session, as well as answering a lot of questions that we've received this week and last week as well. If we don't get to your answers between now and next week, make sure you keep checking in, as multiple other scrappers have answered questions because they know what they're talking about, or they reference different things that we've talked about here at the iScrap app. This is Tom from iScrap. Make sure you download the app today, update it, check the notifications, post your prices online, stay safe, stay healthy, and until next week, I'll scrap you later.